So tell me one thing, students. Did you people have any doubts in the previous topics that we had discussed?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Everything is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, very good. Okay. So today we're going to discuss about the permanent tissues classification, isn't it? The different types of permanent tissues. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
how would you differentiate a simple, like you can say a permanent tissue with the meristematic tissue, students? How
Yes,
can you
ma'am.
differentiate a meristematic tissue with a permanent tissue?
Ma'am, the permanent issue may be dead or alive.
The permanent tissue
Maybe living or dead.
may be living or dead. See, mostly the meristematic, not actually living or dead, is the basis of difference. The main difference is that the meristematic tissue, they are actively dividing. They are the tissues that divide a lot. But when we talk about the permanent tissues, so they have lost the property of division, isn't it? Meaning they're not able to divide anymore. Now, when we talked about meristematic tissue, how many types of meristematic tissues are there?
3 types.
Three types. What are the three types?
Apical, uh, uh, apical, lateral,
And one more,
uh, intercalaris.
intercalary. Correct. All right. Now talking about the permanent tissues, we know that these tissues, they come from the meristematic tissues only, meaning these are the tissues that have, like that earlier used to be the tissues that used to divide, right? They divided a
Yes,
lot.
ma'am.
But later on, a property called as cell differentiation took place in them. Meaning here now the cells, they lost their property of division and they took a permanent shape, a permanent size, and a permanent function. So this whole property that the tissue is doing of taking a permanent shape, size, and function and not being able to divide more. So we call it as cell differentiation. So cell differentiation takes place, and this is the reason why some of the meristematic tissues, they get converted, or you can say turned into the permanent tissue. So now the tissues that have undergone the differentiation process, they become permanent tissues.
Okay,
Now,
ma'am.
just like how we discussed that cell differentiation is, it is a process of taking up a permanent shape, a permanent size and function. So that is what we call as cell differentiation. Now talking about the characteristics of permanent tissues. So the first characteristic is that they have lost the power of division. We know that after the cell differentiation has been done, it naturally means that they do not divide anymore. They do not have that property of division anymore. So they can't divide at all. This is the one most important and the most basic difference between this, like the meristematic tissues and the permanent tissue. The difference is that one can divide all through their life and the other cannot. Now, since they
Yes,
do
ma'am.
not divide
Yes,
throughout,
ma'am.
so what happens? They have a definite
They have
form
a fixed
and definite
shape.
like size. So, like definite means it does not change. It does not vary with time. For example, if there is any cell that is sort of square or you can say rectangular in size or shape, then it will stay like this. Okay, it will stay like this because they have a
Yes, ma'am.
fixed or they have a definite shape and size, meaning they will not change their shape, their sizes or anything. But that is not there in the case of meristematic tissues. The meristematic tissues, they keep on changing according to the need of the plant. Whatever type of cell is required, they will change their form, change their shape into that particular type.
Yes,
Now
ma'am.
moving forward, the third characteristic is that these are the tissues that have a specific function. Why they have a specific function? Because they have undergone the process of cell differentiation. And after cell differentiation has been done, it means that they have been assigned a proper function to perform. They don't do all of the things. They get specialized for one function and they keep on performing that function only. Why? Because of cell differentiation. They are fully differentiated, meaning now they have got their own, you can say, area where they'll be like they'll be performing the function. They've got their own size and they've got their own shape. So this specific condition or the specific function that they have, it's because of fully differentiation, because they are completely differentiated. So this is like the third characteristic. Now moving forward, they may be living or they may be dead. Depending upon what is the component that are present inside them, they may be living tissues also, they may be dead tissues also. Now, just like how when we talked about the meristematic tissue, so we know that thick cell wall was present in them. And their cell wall was made up of which component, students?
Hello?
Hmm?
Ma'am, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Ma'am, can you repeat the question again?
Yes, I'm asking the plant cell wall is made up of which component?
Yes.
Hmm?
Ma'am, cellulose.
Yes, cellulose, correct. It is made up of cellulose. So here also, the cell wall of these plants, like you can say the tissues, they will also be made up of cellulose, but the only difference is that in the case of permanent tissues, it will be a thicker layer rather than in meristematic tissue, there was a thinner. Now, the next is that they have large vacuoles. See, students, whenever vacuoles are present in any cell, if vacuoles are there, the most important function of vacuole is to store stuff. It stores, right? The purpose of vacuoles is for
Sure.
storage, right? So now it can store the waste material. It can store variety of, you can say, enzymes. It can store variety of, you can say, food products also. So they have large vacuoles. Now see, since these tissues, they are not constantly dividing, right? They are not dividing. So since they are not dividing, so they do not need enough space in the tissue area. So they have
Yes, ma'am.
vacuoles present in them. Why? Because now, since they are, like you can say, differentiated and they need a specific function, so what they need is that they particularly require certain apparatus in the tissue to that, so that they can store stuff. Because they are not dividing, they don't have to divide. So they don't need a lot of space in the tissue. So that is why they
Ma'am,
have. Yes?
ma'am, can the storage get full?
Hmm, it can.
So
If
what, at the time when the storage gets full, so what they do?
another vacuole is formed. If
Oh,
one
okay.
vacuole gets completely full, then another vacuole is formed. Because since this
Okay.
is not iCloud, so they can't buy storage, so they make
Yes, ma'am.
another vacuole for them. Okay, so they
Okay,
make
ma'am.
so that they can store stuff. And sometimes, like if the vacuole is, you can say, full, so they also eliminate stuff so that space is around. Clear? So
Okay, ma'am.
are
Thank you.
all the characteristics clear to every single student?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What about the rest of you? Only two people understood it, and the rest?
Ma'am, I also got.
Yeah, I heard yours. Sarah, Rumesa, Farhan, tell me, you people, have you understood? Also, everyone switch on your videos. You're supposed to switch on the videos in the class. Rumesa and Farhan, please switch on your videos. See, whenever you come in the class, mostly the focus mode is always on when the meeting starts. So none of your videos will be recorded, nor you can see each other. So when you come in the class, always switch on your videos without me asking. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Ma'am, is this a 1 hour class? I
Yes.
forgot to
Yes.
ask
Yes.
in the start.
It is a 1 hour class.
Okay.
All right. Now the next is simple permanent tissue. Now, see, tissues can be simple permanent tissues or complex permanent tissues. Now I'll tell you how to differentiate in between them. So I'm drawing something and you people tell me what is the difference in between them. Okay. Okay. Now can you tell me what is the difference between 1 and 2?
Yes,
Just by
ma'am.
looking at it, tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, the shapes are different in both of them.
The shapes are different. What about 1? What would you like to say about 1?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
can
in
you
one,
repeat?
all the shapes are same. But whereas in
Okay.
second one, it's different.
It's different. Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone can make out this difference? Every single student?
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Yes,
very
ma'am.
good. So this is the basic thing that you people have to understand when we talk about simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. See, simple means the most basic kind of thing. So simple permanent tissues are those tissues that are made up of one type of cells. Meaning if there are 100 cells that are making up this tissue, then all of those 100 cells will have the same size and same shape. Okay, so that
Yes, ma'am.
makes a simple permanent tissue. So these are the kind of tissues that are made up of only one type of cells. Only one
One type
type
of
of
cell.
cells, right? Meaning you
Yes, ma'am.
will not find any variation in the cells that are there. And all of you know that a group of cell is called as?
Yes, ma'am.
A group of cell is called as?
Tissue.
Tissue. Correct.
Yes,
A
ma'am.
group of cell is tissues. So just like that, so we know that if we talk on a cellular level, meaning on the level of the cell, we'll see that there are multiple cells in any tissue. Now, when all of the cells, they look the same, then that kind of a permanent tissue will be called as simple permanent tissue.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the simple and permanent tissue, it is of 3 types. The first
Ma'am,
one is, yes,
it is only made of one type of tissue, right? One
the
type of cell.
tissue, yeah, one type of cells. It
Yes,
doesn't mean that it has just one cell, because that's not possible, because we know that many cells, they come together and they make the tissue, isn't it?
yes, ma'am.
So for example, if 50 cells are coming together and they are making one tissue, so all of those 50 cells, they'll be alike. They'll be same.
Yes, ma'am.
Now talking about the types. See, there are actually 3 types of simple permanent tissue. 3 types. The first one is parenchyma. Then there is collenchyma. And
Scaling
last,
fiber.
there is sclerenchyma. So these are the 3 different types of simple permanent tissue. Now the first one is parenchyma. See, this one is the most primitive, meaning the most earliest it was formed, right? It was formed earlier than any of the tissue. So it is very primitive and it is a fundamental tissue. Fundamental tissue means that it is the basic necessity of the plant. Fundamental. It is basic to the plant. If this tissue is not there, then the plant will suffer a lot. So it is a very fundamental tissue. That is, it is the most common tissue in the plants with relatively less specialization. Meaning this particular tissue, it does not have a lot of modifications. It is very simple. Okay, it is very primitive and it is the most important and the most basic tissue, meaning this tissue will be present 100%. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
see all of the cells of this particular tissue, every single cell, they'll be living. Now, if I say that any cell is living, what does it mean, students?
Life.
If I say that the cell is living or the tissue is living, so what do you mean by living?
It is alive and it divides itself.
It divides itself. Other than that, how would you, if I give you two cells, how would you understand that one cell is living and the other cell is not?
Ma'am, if the nucleus is active,
Hmm?
if the nucleus is active,
I can't hear you. Speak little clearly.
ma'am, if the nucleus is active,
If it is active.
yes, nucleus is active.
Oh, nucleus is active. Okay, yeah, you're very close to it. See, all of the cells or the tissues that are living, right? So it means that the protoplasm is present in them. Protoplasm. Now, what is protoplasm? Meaning the cytoplasm will be there and the cell organelles will be there. All the cell organelles. You people remember the cell organelles?
Yes.
Right? Mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, nucleus, everything. So when these two things are present, okay, presence of the protoplasm that contain cytoplasm and cell organelles. So when this is present, then only we'll call the cell as living. Very good, Tejas. Now, moving forward, the shape of the cells, they may vary a lot. It can be spherical, it can be oval, or it can be polygonal in shape. So you can find variety of shapes when you talk about this particular parenchyma. Now here the cell wall is very thin and it is made up of a component called as cellulose. The cells of this tissue, they are loosely packed. Now see, if this is the tissue and we are talking about the cells. So for example, this is cell. All of the cells are like this. So there is like a lot of space present in between the cells. So we'll say that this particular tissue, it has a lot of intercellular spaces or large intercellular spaces. Since the cells are loosely packed, so they have large intercellular spaces.
Ma'am,
Yes?
ma'am, is the shape of the shape of the cell is fixed or it is not fixed, the shape of it?
In the case of parenchyma, it is not fixed.
No, ma'am. In any cell case.
See, that depends on from cell to cell. That depends from cell to cell and also from organism to organism. For example, if we take mitochondria, right, the powerhouse of the cell, in many organisms it is sausage shaped, then in many organisms it is disc like, so it varies accordingly. Okay,
Okay.
and in one organism there will be one type of shape.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, so in every human there is different shape
No, in
shape of the
humans
cell.
it is the same.
Okay.
Like all of the humans, they have the same kind of cells.
Okay. Animals and humans have different, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But we come, like we are also counted in animals only. When we say animals, we are also talking about us. We're also
Yes,
talking
ma'am.
about the microscopic structures also, which we can't even see. So we come under animals only. Okay, in English, animals and human is different, but in biology, we are animals only. All right. So, since the cells of this particular tissue, they are loosely packed, like they're not together like this, like one is here, one is here. So that is why big or large intercellular spaces are found in them. Intercellular space means inter means in between. Cellular means in between the cells. So in between the cells, spaces are present. So why? Because the cells are very loosely packed. Now there is a large central vacuole and a dense peripheral cytoplasm. So inside, like in between the cell, there is a large central vacuole. Central means it is placed in the center. So
Yes, ma'am.
centrally located vacuole is present right in the middle. And
Yes. Yes,
surrounding it
ma'am.
is the peripheral protoplasm or the peripheral cytoplasm. Now, they are found in the soft parts of the plants, such as the cortex of the roots, the ground tissues in the stem, and in the mesophyll of the leaves. This is the location. Like, where would you find the parenchyma tissue? So, you will find it in the cortex of the root, you find it in the ground tissues in the stem, and also in the mesophyll of the leaves. See,
Ma'am,
all
what
of
is mesophyll?
See, mesophyll, they are specialized cells of the leaf that contain the chlorophyll molecule.
And cortex?
Cortex is a part of the root that has the xylem and phloem. See, this is a little higher to what you people have to study. Okay, so just for now, you people understand that these are the examples. So remember the
Okay.
examples as such. Okay, cortex, there are
Okay.
many things in the cortex, but it is not for your syllabus. So just understand that, okay, these are the places where parenchyma is found. Mostly all the soft parts of the plant have parenchyma. Clear?
Yes.
Any doubts up until now, students?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No,
very.
ma'am.
Moving forward, talking about the function of parenchyma. See, the most important function of parenchyma, since they are not dividing, so they can't do anything of that sort, but they can do a very important process, and that is storage of food. So no matter where in the plant you see a parenchyma is responsible for the storage of food. It stores the food. Clear? This is the main
Okay,
function.
ma'am, got it.
Now, this parenchyma, it has several modifications, or you can say several specializations, meaning they can change their form and they can perform differently under different situations. So there are actually three kinds of modifications of parenchyma. You people understand what is modification?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Like the
ma'am.
basic structure will be there, but it will have additional structures in it as well. Like how you
Yes,
people, if
ma'am.
you people have bicycles, right? So when like you buy a cycle or a bicycle, you get it modified, isn't it? You get beautiful
Yes,
colored
ma'am.
things attached onto it or something like that. People understand the meaning of modification, right? So same thing happens in the case of parenchyma as well. Okay, so the first is chlorenchyma, then there is arenchyma, and then there is steel parenchyma. So we'll discuss each one of these. First, you people note down till here. Okay, tell me what is the last thing you people have written?
Ma'am, characteristics of permanent tissue.
That is completed.
Yes, ma'am. There are 6 points.
Okay, good. Now you people can note down the simple permanent tissues.
Ma'am, can you scroll down? I have done simple permanent tissue.
Was there any point that is left?
No, ma'am, I completed simple permanent tissue.
Okay, it's okay. Wait, let the like other students, have you people also written this? Those who have not written, write it down, and then the rest I'll scroll. Okay, you people can switch off your videos and write down comfortably.
Yes.
Done, students?
No, ma'am, just a minute.
Okay. Done? Are you done, students? Students, are you done?
Yes, ma'am.
Done, students?
No, ma'am, just 1 minute.
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am, done.
Everyone's done? All of you are done, students? Yes or no? Students, am I audible?
No, ma'am, just 2 minutes.
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Done, students? Done, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you write till here.
Just 1 second. Yes, ma'am, done.
All right, everyone is done?
Yes, ma'am, done.
Okay.